Welcome to If You're Not Dead, You're Not Done. This is a channel where we talk about how we make the last years of our lives some of the very best years of our lives. So, how is your retirement going? Are you thriving? Are you just surviving these retirement years? Are you kind of struggling? If you're anything like me, there are days that you thrive, and there are days that you survive, and there are days that you struggle, feel kind of lost and kind of lonely sometimes. I love to talk about what it means to thrive in our retirement years, but I've got to admit, it's not as easy as I wish it was. In fact, the stats tell us that most people in retirement are struggling. They tell us that we go downhill both physically and mentally after we retire. And one of the reasons is a lack of routine in our lives. So what I want to do in this video is share a little bit about my own routine, specifically my morning daily routine, just to give a little insight into how I'm trying to deal with all of this stuff. But I would love to hear from you. Do you have like routines in your life? Are there things you do every day on purpose, or are you just a bit more organic in how you approach your retirement? And while you're down there in the comments section, be sure to subscribe if you haven't done that yet. Routine does not come naturally for me. Remember in the 70s, there was the phrase, if it feels good, do it. Yeah, that's my personality. It wants to do what feels good. And there's been times in my life I've embraced and leaned into that philosophy. It did not go well for me at all. I wasn't happy. I wasn't fulfilled. In fact, over the years, I've learned that while my personality wants just to do what feels good, I am the happiest when there is routine in my life, and dare I use the word discipline. I'm not a big fan of the word. I know it's important and I know it helps me, but it feels like the opposite of my personality. It's the opposite of doing what feels good. Discipline seems like doing all the stuff you hate. Discipline is like eating the food that you don't actually like. And so I have a little bit of a love-hate relationship with the word. But I came to the realization a couple of years ago that discipline is not perfection. I always kind of approached discipline as I had to be perfect. But discipline is not perfection. Discipline is focus. And that one phrase made such a huge difference for me. Discipline is not perfection. It's focus. Let me give you an example. Last time I did a video, I talked about walking every day. And so let's say that's the goal, that's the discipline you want to put in your life. And so for me, I do that, and maybe I do really well at it for a few days, maybe even a few weeks. And then I miss a day for whatever reason. Maybe I'm just tired. I don't feel up to it, so I don't walk. And I kind of feel like, oh man, I failed. I let myself down. And so then I miss another day and a day after that. And finally, I just feel like a failure, and I just give up. Because discipline, I'm thinking of discipline in terms of perfection. But when discipline is focus, what I did yesterday or what I didn't do yesterday doesn't really matter, because it's just about this day. It's about what is my focus going to be on this day. See, Discipline as perfection is always looking back and always judging myself at how well I did. But discipline is as focus is just about moving forward. It's about living in the moment and about what's going to happen today. And so with all that said, let me talk about my morning routine. Now, let me give you a little disclaimer because this is what's going on right now. This seems to change often because life changes, because things happen. And so the routine has to change. But let me say what's happening right now as I speak to you. So it's summertime. And so in the summer, on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, Sheila and I have 2, sometimes 3 of our grandchildren for the bulk of the day. And that takes up most of our energy in the day. So on those days, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I set my alarm for 5:30. Now, oftentimes I'm awake before that anyway. That's kind of my body clock. But I set my alarm just to make sure I can get this routine in. And so I get up. First thing I do is I make coffee. That's a very high priority on my list. And then with my coffee, I sit down and I journal for about 30 minutes. My journal is about reflecting on the day before. I always try to write 5 or 6 things that I'm grateful for in that moment, grateful for that happened yesterday. I reflect on how I'm feeling, what's going on inside of me, what I'm learning about myself, and I write that down. Some days there's a lot. Some days it's just a list of things that I'm grateful for. But I do that for about 30 minutes or so. And then I spend the next 10 to 15 minutes in meditation, prayer, meditation, whatever you want to call that time. It's a time just to sit and to be still and to be quiet. Sometimes I just sit quietly. Other times I use apps that help me stay a little more focused in my meditation. And I try to do that for about 10 or 15 minutes every morning. And then I head down to the gym. Now, right now in my life, it's easy because there's a gym right downstairs in my apartment. And so I can head down there and I do about a 45-minute strength workout. And then I'm back upstairs, take a quick shower, have some breakfast. By 8:15, I'm out the door to pick up my children. Now, that's what it looks like on those days. Then on other days, it's a little different because I don't set my alarm. I still wake up usually about the same time. I try to go through the same routine, but we don't have the kids. Those are walk days because we're training for the Camino. And so we spend about 2 to 4 hours each of those days walking with our backpacks up and down hills, trying to get ready for the Camino. Now, as I speak to you, I realize that in a couple of weeks, this whole routine is going to get messed up. We've got a trip planned with all of our kids and grandkids, all 7 of them. It's going to be fantastic. The week after that, I'm going to Michigan to spend a week with my mom. And then I'm home for a week. And the week after that, then we head to Spain. So it's all going to get messed up really soon. But here's what I know about myself. I am better when there is routine in my life. It's not that I go through this morning routine and I feel fantastic and everything's okay. No, it's the cumulative effect of having this routine in my life. I feel more grounded. I feel more confident. I'm less scattered. I feel more fulfilled. And the routine makes all the difference in the world. What I've learned is that to live my best life in these retirement years is it's not easy. It takes intentionality. It takes discipline. It takes focus. And that discipline doesn't come because someone is dictating the way you need to spend your time like it did when you were working. That discipline, that focus has to come from within. But here's the thing. We've been training for this our whole lives. We might be getting old, but with that age comes wisdom that we didn't have before. We understand ourselves better than we did when we were 40. And we can draw on that wisdom and that experience and all those years of learning. So find the routine that works for you in this season. And remember, discipline is not perfection, it's focus. Well, now it's starting to rain. I think I've got done just in time. Thanks for listening. See you next week. Cheers.